Morning, we are going to talk about catalysts or bad things, and it's another topic from this book that I wrote that I think is really helpful. And it's today we're going to talk about why bad things happen to good people, or why do bad things happen generally. You can say bad things happen to bad people because they're bad and they deserve it, but why do bad things happen to good people? And so here's the gist of today's message. One, we're going to talk about this bad thing, the things we consider bad. We're going to call that catalyst. And this is from the Law of One, once again. And the catalyst, the word actually means that which provokes. It's going to provoke a reaction. It doesn't necessarily have to make it happen, but it has the likelihood of a particular action because it's meant to provoke it. Now, we still have a choice. However, the chances are we're going to get upset if somebody demeans us, provokes us, like in an angry manner, attacks us, or what we feel like is an attack. Likely we're going to attack back in some way. So what are these catalysts? What's going to happen is if we can become more aware of the story we have about the catalyst, we're going to see how we get the end result of us deeming something good or bad, because the good or badness of any story comes from the good or badness of any event comes from my story. And if I can learn how to balance that, the story, what allows me to do is to release my stories, and that's what I'm calling forgiveness. It's just the release of a story. So let's take an example, something silly. You're getting cut off in traffic. So the catalyst or the provoking event is being cut off in traffic. Someone pulls in front of you really quick in a way that you deem inappropriate, and you get angry. You pulled in front of me. I want to be there, that car in front of me, and now I'm here because that person pulled in front of me. This is horrible. So what's my story about that? My story is they are disrespectful. They are antagonizing me on purpose. They drove that way because they disrespect me as a human being and they are against me. They attacked me. And so what I want to do, I want to attack back. And so maybe I honk, maybe I, flip them the finger, the bird, maybe I yell bad words, whatever it is. So that's one story, and it creates this reaction, and it's my story gives me this a meaning. I put meaning on the whole thing. The meaning comes from my story. Now I could put a good story on it too. I can flip it. So this is the act of balancing. And this is what the Law of One calls balancing, is you take both stories, both ways of taking things, a good way or a bad way, whatever you deem as good or bad, you take them both to the extreme. So I could make it a good story, hey, God bless him. I'm so thankful I have a car, right? That would be that's a good story. Wow, I got cut off. I'm in a car. I couldn't get cut off unless I was in a car. Most of the world doesn't have a car. So I'm rich. I'm thankful for this. Now I can drive slower. Now, since I'm driving slower, maybe it's just a good reminder to be still within. And maybe I can listen to an audio book. I can turn on the choice, wake up and embody down, and hear Javon go on and on about how wonderful life is and how neutral life is. So it's another story. It leaves you to the different meaning outcome. Take them both to the extremes and you have a different feeling on the inside. So you can take them both even further. Imagine, instead of just getting angry, you going to take this bad experience to the extreme, and you're going to say, you run them off the road, I'm going to take you down, I'm going to kill you because I'm so angry. I can't believe you would do this to me. Now, most people would say that's ridiculous. However, do people kill people on the road for those kind of things? They do. So it's possible. And people do a number of horrible things. Either way, if you take the catalyst, getting cut off, and you go to both extremes, what you find is the event means nothing. The event is neutral, and your story is what gives it the meaning, the weight, the feeling that comes from it is just from your story. And if you can get to the place where you can see both sides, both stories, it will allow you to forgive. What is forgiveness? Once again, it's just releasing your story, or giving room for other stories that could coexist with that one event. And then you can accept life as it is. The car is in front of me. It pulled in front of me very close to where I am. I had to put on my brakes so I didn't hit it. There's no real meaning besides what you're observing. And then if you're in that neutral place, what it'll allow you to do is engage in the world in loving service. You can turn to the person that's driving with you and say, I really love being with you in the car. As opposed to if you're angry, it's really difficult to be in that place and to have access to loving service and to turn to somebody and say, hey, I love being with you. If you're angry, it would be more like, I can't believe they did that to me. And then the person in your car would be like, hey, you need to settle down. And then you'd say, you need to settle down. Stop talking to me while I'm driving. It's dangerous out here, right? And it's very easy for your anger from the reaction to the catalyst to pour over on other things, like the innocent person in your passenger seat. And so catalyst in general now becomes an opportunity for you to neutralize it or to work with the catalyst. So the law of one talks about how that there are few humans that properly use catalyst. There's few humans. They don't use catalyst very often. And they gave an example of someone using catalyst properly, and they gave the example of Jesus Christ. So that's a high bar. How do we use it? So all the bad things, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, the point of the book is the bad things happen to you for your good. In fact, you were part of this designing process of bad things that were going to be happening to you during this lifetime. And everything that's coming to you is what you wanted, so that you can have the opportunity to forgive all these stories that you're making up and to be able to accept, and in that neutral, accepting place, that neutral, forgiving place, not forgiving the person, you're forgiving your stories about the person, because the person also is neutral. The person is a glorious expression of God. They're perfect. What you're forgiving is your story about them. Release it, and then from that neutral place, what would be the highest way of engaging in love at this moment? And then it happens, right? So the highest way of engaging in love for me in this moment is making this video. Is it a good video? Probably not. Is it helpful for people? I don't know. But it just seems like this would be the best thing for me in this moment from a fairly neutral place. And so I'm doing it. And what your acts of love do in the world is also none of your business, because that's also a story. You just keep on doing what seems like love, and you keep on moving on. And you keep on forgiving the next catalyst, because I promised the catalyst to keep rolling in, Why do bad things keep happening to good people? And in the end, we realize that there aren't real bad things. They're all just opportunities to forgive, accept, and then engage in loving service over and over and over and over again, for the sake of our eternal goals of really progressing and uniting back with God. So if you want more on that concept, get the book.